5 habits that need to be eliminated immediately when suffering from herniated disc in the elderly. Let me ask you something important. When was the last time you woke up and said, "I feel strong today"? Not just okay or "I can manage," but truly strong, mobile, and free from that dull, nagging pain in your lower back. If that question makes you pause, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not beyond help. I've worked with countless men and women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, all carrying the same burden, a quiet kind of suffering, the kind that settles in slowly. One morning you bend over to tie your shoe, and something feels off. Another day, you reach for the top shelf, and there's that sharp electric jolt again. Some call it aging, but as your health expert, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. If you've been diagnosed with a herniated disc, or suspect you may be dealing with one, please know this: you still have choices. You still have power. Many people come to me months, sometimes years, after the damage has worsened, thinking it's too late to get better. They say things like, "I thought the pain was normal," or "I didn't want to bother anyone." But chronic back pain isn't just uncomfortable. It can quietly rob you of the life you love. The ability to stand in your garden, take a slow walk with your grandchildren, or simply lie down at night without shifting positions 20 times. These are not luxuries. These are your rights, and I want to help you reclaim them. This video isn't about adding more to your already full plate. It's about subtracting. Specifically, 5 habits that might seem small or harmless, but are silently damaging your spine, worsening your herniated disc, and stealing your joy. Once we identify and eliminate these, your body can finally begin to do what it's been trying to do all along: heal. So if you're tired of living cautiously, tired of avoiding certain chairs, skipping activities, or holding your breath every time you lean forward, stay with me. You may not be able to rewind the clock, but you can press pause on the pain. And you can move forward with strength. Let's talk honestly. Let's act boldly. And let's give your back the care it's been silently asking for. Are you ready? Let's begin with the first habit, and give your spine the respect it deserves. Habit 1. Ignoring back pain until it becomes unbearable. Let me tell you something that may surprise you. The human spine is incredibly patient. It doesn't scream for attention, not at first. It whispers. Gently, persistently, hoping you'll listen. But too many of my patients, perhaps like you, were taught to push through the pain. It's just stiffness. It'll go away on its own. I don't want to be dramatic. Sound familiar? The problem with this mindset is that it gives a herniated disc exactly what it wants: time to get worse. A herniated disc, or what some people call a slipped disc, occurs when the cushion between the bones in your spine bulges or ruptures, pressing on nearby nerves. At first, it may just feel like tightness or mild discomfort. But over time, that pressure builds, and then suddenly, you're dealing with shooting pain, numbness, muscle weakness, or even loss of bladder control in severe cases. I've seen elders go from taking morning walks every day to barely making it to the kitchen without wincing. Not because they're weak, but because they waited too long. Let me be clear. Pain is not the enemy. It is a messenger, a wise one. When your body speaks, you must listen early, because the longer you delay, the harder the road to recovery becomes. One woman I worked with, Ellen, 67 years old, ignored her lower back pain for over a year. She blamed it on gardening, housework, and just getting older. By the time she came in, she could no longer bend down to feed her dog. Her spine had been asking for help for months. We had to start from square one. Thankfully, with the right treatment and a commitment to daily habits, Ellen slowly recovered. But she told me something I'll never forget. If I had just listened to the pain instead of fearing it, I wouldn't have lost a year of my life. So let me ask you directly, what pain have you been ignoring lately? That tightness in the lower back when you get out of bed, that sharp ache when you sit too long. Don't wait for it to scream. Act when it whispers. Here's what you can do starting today. Keep a pain journal. Track when discomfort starts. What makes it worse? What helps? Don't self-diagnose. Visit a spine specialist if symptoms persist more than a few days. Pay attention to patterns, numbness, tingling, weakness, even in your legs or feet. You have one spine. Just one. Give it the early attention it deserves, and it will serve you for many more good years to come. Habit 2. Sitting for long periods. Without support or movement. Now, let's talk about a habit that's quietly hurting millions of spines every day. Sitting. Yes, just sitting. Not because sitting is bad by itself, but because how long we sit changes everything. Especially when you're over 50 and already dealing with a herniated disc. Let me paint a picture for you. You wake up, have breakfast, maybe read or scroll on your phone. You sit, then perhaps you move to the sofa to watch a bit of television. More sitting. Later you rest after lunch, still sitting. And before bed, another hour or two in that same position. That's 6, 8, sometimes 10 hours of sitting, with the lower spine bearing the brunt of it. What most people don't realize is that the seated position increases disc pressure more than standing or even light walking. When you sit without lumbar support, without adjusting posture, and without moving for long stretches, your spine starts to compress, and that herniated disc has even less space to heal. And when your core muscles weaken from lack of use, that's when pain intensifies. That's when numbness spreads. That's when you feel old. Not because you are, but because your body is being denied movement. I once treated a retired school teacher, Mr. Davis, 72, who was shocked when I asked about his TV habits. He said, "I only watch a little in the afternoon." We counted 4 hours daily. And the chair? No back support, no cushion. Just habit. His pain reduced by half in just 2 weeks after adjusting how and where he sat. Here's how you can do the same. Choose a chair with lumbar support or use a small cushion behind your lower back. Set a timer every 30-45 minutes to stand up, stretch, or walk around for 3 to 5 minutes. Avoid slouching. Your ears, shoulders, and hips should form a straight line. Engage your core even when sitting. A little activation goes a long way. Alternate positions. Try sitting on a stability ball or using a standing desk for short periods. And don't underestimate the power of micro movements. Wiggle your toes. Roll your shoulders. Gently twist your torso. Remind your spine that it's alive, that it has space, that it can still move. Because here's the truth. Healing doesn't happen in stillness. It happens in circulation, in flexibility, in gentle, intentional motion. So the next time you sit down, ask yourself, is my back supported? Have I moved in the last 30 minutes? If not, it's time to change that. Your spine will thank you with every pain-free breath you take. Habit 3. Lifting objects incorrectly or without assistance. Let me tell you something I've seen far too often. A strong, independent man or woman in their 60s or 70s, standing tall with pride, says, "I can still do it myself." Then, in a split second, that pride turns into pain. A small box. A heavy laundry basket. A grandchild lifted up with love. The intention is always pure. But the technique, or more often, the decision to lift without help, can lead to weeks or even months of suffering. When you're dealing with a herniated disc, your spine is already in a vulnerable position. The disc is pressing out from its natural place, and even the slightest wrong movement, especially one involving bending, twisting, or sudden load, can make that bulge worse. Much worse. It's not about being weak. It's about being wise. And here's the truth. Lifting like you used to when you were 30 is no longer safe. That's not defeat. That's maturity. Let's break this down. When most people lift something off the ground, they bend at the waist. That immediately pulls pressure onto the lower back, right where herniated discs are most common. The correct way is to bend at the knees, keep the back straight, tighten your core, and lift with your legs. But even more than that, ask yourself this. Do I need to lift this alone? There is no shame in saying, "Can you help me?" In fact, that one question may prevent months of pain, physical therapy, or even surgery. I had a patient, Mr. Ramirez, a 68-year-old grandfather who loved working in his garage. One day he bent down to move a tool chest, nothing too heavy, just awkward in shape. One twist, one grunt, and he dropped to the floor in agony. The MRI showed what I feared. His herniated disc had worsened, pressing deeper into the sciatic nerve. His recovery took 6 months. He told me later with tears in his eyes. If I had just asked my son to help me, I wouldn't have missed my grandson's first baseball season. So here's what I want you to take from this. Never lift and twist at the same time. That's a recipe for disc damage. Use assistive tools, grabbers, trolleys, lifting belts, or even a simple stool. Always bend your knees and keep the object close to your body. If you feel uncertain, don't lift it. Period. And most importantly, let people love you by helping you. Your spine doesn't need you to be a hero. It needs you to be smart, gentle, and patient. Habit 4. Skipping, stretching, or light exercise out of fear. Now let me guess. You've heard someone say this before. Maybe you've even said it yourself. I'm afraid to move too much. What if I make it worse? That fear is real. I understand it. When you're living with back pain, especially from a herniated disc, it's easy to feel fragile. Every step feels risky. Every movement is measured, so you stay still. You avoid stretching. You stop walking. You cancel your water aerobics class. You give your body rest. But in the case of a herniated disc, too much rest is exactly what delays healing. Let me be clear. Your spine was designed to move. And even with a disc injury, movement, when done gently and correctly, is your greatest ally. Here's what happens when you avoid movement. Muscles weaken. Joints stiffen. Blood flow slows down. Your spine loses support. And soon, the pain you feared gets worse because of inactivity. I worked with a woman named Carol, 71, retired nurse. After being diagnosed with a herniated disc, she was so afraid of pain she stopped all physical activity. For months, she barely moved from the couch to the kitchen. Her legs lost strength. Her back pain didn't improve. Her world got smaller. When we started working together, I introduced gentle stretches. Nothing intense, just small, spine-friendly movements. A few minutes in the morning. A few minutes before bed. 2 weeks later, she smiled and said, "I walked through the grocery store without stopping once." It brought tears to both our eyes. So what can you do? Start small. Pelvic tilts on your back. Knee-to-chest stretches, cat-cow movements on all fours. Short walks, 5-10 minutes, a few times daily. Water exercises to reduce pressure while staying active. And always, always listen to your body. Pain is a guide, not an enemy. If something hurts sharply, pause. If it feels like a gentle stretch, continue. And most importantly, consult your doctor or physical therapist for a plan tailored to you. Your spine doesn't want you to stop moving. It wants you to move smarter. So if you've been afraid, I invite you to try. One small movement today. Another tomorrow. And soon, your body will start to remember what it's like to feel free again. Habit 5. Sleeping in harmful positions. Without the right support. Let's talk about something we often overlook. Sleep. It's when your body is supposed to rest, recover, and rebuild. But for those with a herniated disc, especially older adults, the way you sleep can either heal you or harm you. I know what you might be thinking. I've always slept this way. It's just how I'm comfortable. But as your spine changes with age, so do its needs. And what once felt fine may now be silently damaging your discs every single night. Here's the science. When you lie in positions that twist the spine, flatten its natural curve, or place pressure on your lower back, you're forcing the herniated disc to remain compressed. All night long. That means no relief. No chance to breathe. No room for healing. I had a patient, Mr. Jordan, 75, former contractor. He always slept on his stomach, arms tucked under the pillow, neck turned to the side. It worked for years, but after his herniated disc diagnosis, his pain was constant, especially in the mornings. Once we adjusted his sleeping posture, gave him the right pillow, and elevated his knees slightly, his sleep transformed. It's the first time in months I woke up without a fire in my lower back, he told me. Here's what I want you to consider tonight. Avoid sleeping on your stomach. It hyperextends the lower back and twists the neck. Back sleepers. Place a small pillow or rolled towel under your knees to reduce lumbar strain. Side sleepers. Sleep with a pillow between your knees to keep your hips aligned. Invest in a supportive mattress. Medium firm is usually best for herniated discs. Not too soft, not too hard. Use a cervical pillow that supports the natural curve of your neck. Keep your spine aligned from head to tailbone, as if a straight line ran down your back. Sleep is not just rest, it is restoration. And every hour you sleep in the wrong position is an hour of silent damage. But every night you sleep aligned and supported, that's an hour of healing, of hope, of progress. So tonight, before you climb into bed, ask yourself, is my body in a position to heal? Because you deserve sleep that strengthens, not sleep that steals. Conclusion. Let's breathe together for a moment. Not a shallow breath, but a deep, healing one. Let it in, and let it out slowly. You've just taken in a lot. And I know it can feel overwhelming, maybe even a little emotional. But here's what I want you to remember above all else. This isn't the end of your strength. It's the beginning of your comeback. You've spent years giving, raising families, working hard, sacrificing your body for others. Now it's time to give back to you. You are not broken. You are not past your prime. You are not just getting old. You are worthy of healing, and your body, even now, is capable of restoration. But healing doesn't start with a miracle. It starts with a decision, a choice to say, I will no longer ignore the pain. I will move with wisdom, not fear. I will let go of the habits that no longer serve me. Whether it's refusing to lift heavy things alone, or finally asking for help when you need it. Whether it's walking for 5 minutes when you'd rather sit, or adjusting your pillow so your spine can breathe through the night. Every small step is a declaration. I am not giving up. So I ask you now, from one human heart to another, what will you do tonight that your future self will thank you for? What will you release? What will you change? Because the life you love, the one where you move freely, rest peacefully, and smile without wincing, that life is still waiting for you. It's not gone. It's not unreachable. It's simply on the other side of a few new decisions. And you're not alone on that road. If this message touched you, if you felt seen, heard, or helped in any way, please consider sharing it with someone else who may be hurting. Click that like button to let us know we're on the right path. Subscribe if you want more healing wisdom, delivered with warmth and care. And remember, healing is possible. And you, my friend, you are still full of life. Let's walk this road together, one habit at a time, one healing breath at a time. One brighter morning at a time. You've got this, and I'm here with you, every step of the way.